My name is Dr. Doug Becker, and when I was 22, early in my studies of indigenous medicine, I had the great opportunity to travel to the Himalayan mountains, where I met a master, a kind of mythical person known as Babaji. And the meeting of this great soul not only changed the course of my trip there in India, but it changed the course of my life as well. The way he appeared and then disappeared had me completely change my intended destination. And instead, I actually found someone who thought they knew who he was and where he stayed. So after many hours of driving and hiking deep into the mountains, we found him. I had many magical moments with him that many would call miraculous, such as when he took uncooked rice that I gave him, and after a few steps, about 30 seconds, he turned around with hot, fresh bread in his hands, without an oven or kitchen for miles around. A few days later, there was a massive 6.3 earthquake that shook everything and practically crumbled the building I was in. And the epicenter was amazingly in the exact place I was going to be staying had Babaji not come to me. I had many magical days there near the cave where he lived, there in the forest with him. And the day after the earthquake, I was standing on top of a hill overlooking this beautiful, magical valley. And Babaji walked up to me and looked directly at me, and he put up his hands like this. And I responded. I put my hands up like this. I didn't know what he was trying to say. And then he put his hands up again. And then I put my hands up, and then he put his, and it went over and over again. And then we just both started laughing and laughing and laughing. And then I turned and I looked at him, and where his head had been was now just a ball of light. His head was completely gone. It was just light. Now, I've had many incredible experiences ever since I was little, but this one really impacted me. Another magical, impacting experience I had, probably the most magical experience I had, was when I was a very little boy. My great-grandmother would come and visit us regularly. I would sit on her lap, and she would pray her rosary beads and cry. She was a Mexican woman, and her family had a huge estate before the Mexican Revolution. But after the revolution, they had nothing. And she became really focused on just the family and the spiritual. Those moments on her lap were probably the most special experiences I've ever had. When my clients come to me, I always expect special experiences to happen. For instance, one woman came and she had these big dime-sized tumors on the back of her arm that had been growing and spreading for months, and she was very concerned about it. After asking her really specific questions, I told her to take a few tablespoons of olive oil as a remedy every morning. 3 days later, she came back and the tumors were all gone. I know that when another human being comes to me for healing, any compassionate interactions I have with them helps to build their own confidence and faith in their body's ability to heal itself. I wrote about all this in my first book, Principle of Harmony and Healing, Unity in the Mystery and History of Medicine. Thank you.